How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of My Hero Academia episode review. We're looking at the most recent My Hero Academia episode, and it was actually really good towards the end of it. The beginning is, from what I can remember, because I actually just watched the episode about half an hour ago, and I don't really remember what happened. But from what I can remember, the first half is kind of slow, or at least it felt like it was actually pretty slow considering what was happening, because the episode starts off with with them basically retelling on how getting eliminated and passing actually works in the episode. I'm going to try to summarize this episode as short as possible, but the beginning of the episode for some reason has the need to tell us how exactly you're supposed to pass like this first part of the provisional licensing exams. And I think the reason for that is sheerly because of the fact that they finally got like 100 people who passed, and now they're going towards the second half or the second test, which is the final part actually of the whole provisional licensing exam. They finally finished the first part, so everyone else got eliminated, and 100 people actually passed. So they felt like they needed to do it in the beginning of the episode, just as a quick reminder. And then we immediately, soon after that, we go immediately after into more action with one of the other schools, with one of the characters known as Shindo, and he's like talking about like how normally UA would be getting attacked, whatever. He was just talking about how like their whole plan was to split everybody up, but it was in a spree in a moment and didn't really work out like the way they did. And then what do you know? They ended up later on in the episode. The group that he's with actually all passed. There's like 8 of them, so whatever, right? I don't really get like the whole like beginning part of that. I guess it was just supposed to show that like Shindo is like not an idiot. He's actually like smart, and he could be seen as a threat if he really wanted to. And then we go back to where Bakugo, Kaminari, and Kirishima actually were dealing with. They're dealing with one of the other guys from Shiketsu High School. Is that what the school is called? I don't remember. But what was the name of his quirk? Like I don't remember his name, and it's Meatball, isn't it? Right? Is that what his quirk is called? But basically, his limbs, like he can use them as like projectiles and stuff. I actually forgot like how the narrator actually described out how his quirk actually works, but it's weird and it's different. It's different from what we normally see. But he can basically just manipulate his limbs and use them as projectiles, and if it touches somebody else, they kind of become like a sack of flesh, and yeah, it's kind of weird. So Bakugo's trying to deal with this guy by himself, and of course Bakugo's being Bakugo, and Kaminari is just kind of like there in the background. And he actually throws 2 projectiles towards the guy, but he misses. Go figure. But that actually becomes important later on, because soon after Bakugo gets captured and Kaminari has to, save his 2 friends and, get this guy eliminated, obviously, right? But what was really cool is they actually have exposition on why his outfit is changed. And basically, he wanted a way to be able to use his electrocution, or his electricity quirk, basically, right? He wanted to be able to find a way to be able to use it without causing like an AoE attack that can hurt a lot of his allies, because that could potentially happen in a situation where you're up against a villain and you have allies with you. You could potentially attack them and injure them. So you wanted a way to be able to use it in a way that he can only attack a single target. And basically he has this device on his right hand, his wrist, and basically he can shoot out these projectiles. That's like a shooter, and then he uses his quirk to come in contact with the objects that he shoots out of the little thing on his wrist and his arm, and then basically that will then transfer his electricity towards those 2 objects and then to another person. So it's basically just another way of being able to attack someone at like a range instead of like an AoE, as Kaminari has been doing this entirety of the series. But just before that, we actually see that Bakugo can actually create like explosion grenades. Like he can like, I don't really get like what happened, but it's like grenades, like actual like grenades that you would see someone use like in like a war if you're like a cop or something. But Bakugo basically just put the ingredients from his explosion into a grenade, and even for someone else to use essentially, and that's what he did for Kaminari, which is kind of weird. He explains this, but we don't see him actually explain this. Kaminari has to explain it for him, which is really weird. So yeah, in the end, Kaminari beats the dude. Bakugo and Kirishima can actually get up and start walking around and shit, because they're not like sludge fucking things again. And then there was like a whole bunch of like other guys like around them with like the guy they were just fighting from Shiketsu High School, and obviously they're gonna eliminate them, so that's not really a surprise. But meanwhile, Asui, Shoji, Momo, and Jiro actually meet up with Todoroki because he was the first one of Class 1A to pass. So they all meet up and they're basically waiting for everybody else from their fucking school, right? And then, shocker, I know, Deku, Uraka, and Seto, they pass as well, and they meet up with Bakugo and Kaminari and Kirishima, and they have a little like comedic moment where like four of them are like, yeah, they passed, all right, yeah, woo, they're like excited, right? And then Bakugo is just being Bakugo towards Deku, right? But the weird part about that happening is he actually acknowledges Deku, which is something that Bakugo never really does, right? And that's because he makes a reference towards back in season 1, I believe. Yeah, back in season 1, where Deku then had basically said that his quirk was passed on towards him, but Deku wanted to make the quirk that he was given his own. He wanted it to be his own power instead of something that was given to him. And Bakugo acknowledges that, which obviously is surprising for the viewer and Deku himself, because he doesn't really do that all too often. All the while, Tenya Ida, he's going around trying to help all the other students from Class 1A, because they're all separated and they're trying to regroup because they want to be able to pass an entire group. And then Ida ends up meeting with the fucking guy with like the laser in his belly button. I forgot his name. I apologize for not knowing, but if all the characters, I honestly thought he was gonna be the one character from Class 1A to not pass. But the episode continues on. Like I said, Bakugo acknowledges Deku for making his quirk his own, which was really a good scene. I really like that. But then the episode continues on, and finally it gets to a point where I really, and I apologize for not remembering names. I really do. But finally, it gets to a point where they have a little moments like together, and like Ida and the other guy. I forget his name. I'm so fucking pissed at myself for that. I hate myself. But slowly, the remaining spots are decreasing, and it gets to a point where there are 9 students from Class 1A who can actually pass. Right, there are 9 Class 1A students who haven't passed yet, and there's 10 spots left. So it continues on. And then fucking belly button laser guy, he actually has a decent moment, and there's actually a little bit of exposition in the sense of they have a little flashback with him where he's a little kid and he's wondering why he's so different from everyone. And I guess it's because of his quirk, because it's so different from everyone else's. It's like kind of weird. And he keeps repeating the shape of my dream. And I guess he's had a dream of always wanting to be a hero and whatever. I actually don't remember what exactly happened, but he like gets on his back and he shoots his laser, belly button laser, towards the sky. And because of that, he's basically trying to do like a last minute hero like self-sacrifice moment, right? But what this ends up happening is it brings up all the other schools and like the students towards him. But the idea was so that Ida can actually eliminate all those students. But what that actually does in turn is it gets all the other Class 1A students to finally regroup together, and surprise, surprise, they all pass. Even fucking the laser belly button guy, I forget his name. I'm sorry. I'm mad at myself too, but they all pass. All remaining 9 students actually pass as well. And part of me was like, yeah, that's not that surprising. But part of me actually was like still like really excited for this moment in the episode. I was like, yes, they all passed. That's so cool. Like all of them, like no one was left out. Everyone from class 1A, passed, and of course everyone was really excited because they passed the first half of the professional licensing exams, and they filled all 9 slots, and there's one slot left, and that goes to Cami from Shiketsu High School. If you saw my other video, like titled like Cami is like really weird or whatever, I forgot what I titled it. It's something about Cami, right? She passes, and there's pretty much like 2 Shiketsu High School students who actually even passed. So everyone else, pretty much failed. And after like the end credits, they have a little like end credit like scene where they basically then explain what the next exams or the next part of the exams is. And basically it's, essentially a rescue mission. So everyone who failed has to now everyone who passed has to now go save everyone who failed, because they show on the screen that the entire like the field that they were just on gets completely destroyed, and that's because it's supposed to be like a rescue mission kind of thing for all those who did fail, who are still out on the field and didn't go anywhere, right? Or whatever happened, I'm not really sure. So yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it. So the first half was basically just to test your combat ability, and then the next one is seeing how good you are at like rescue missions, because being hero isn't always centered around saving people or but fighting villains, but you also have to save others as well in terms of rescue missions. So that's pretty much the next episode's going to be about, and I'm curious to what they're going to do, because they all are trying to be heroes, and they're all trying to save other people who are in the debris of on the field. I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but I'm interested. I'm curious. That's pretty much the end of the episode. I really enjoyed it. The music was good. There were a lot of good moments in the episode, and there were a lot of moments that actually kind of surprised me, like the later half of the later second half of the episode. It was different. It surprised me, and it got me excited. It got me excited because I wasn't really expecting anything much to happen for like a couple of the characters. I didn't think some of them would pass, honestly, but all of them passed, which was interesting. The episode looked good, of course. There wasn't really like any like animation errors that I noticed, at least. So yeah, the episode was really good. Go watch it if you haven't already. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap the video here. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please consider the subscribe button for more videos just like this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'm out. Peace.